than anything, and what we have is not what it seems. We are the vices waiting for the virtues. We're not kings, we are not kings. Gotta get out before my heart explodes. Gotta get out before my heart explodes.
Au bureau, il faut savoir mettre des limites. Dans les plaisanteries, dans le travail même, il faut avoir des barrières en fait, sécuriser son environnement, c'est tout ça, physique et émotionnel.
Tous ces diplômes, ils se promènent de partout et que vous devez faire la différence parmi toutes ces personnes, il faut que vous ayez une valeur ajoutée. C'est de cela qu'il s'agit.
Insisting that you must be a logistic officer, then you're missing your dream. You need to look at your CV. After this meeting, come to me, bring your CV, bring your mission statement to me, and let's talk about the branding.
Hello. Welcome to another edition of the Corporate Women in Leadership. And today we're talking about your favorite topic. I know most of you out here are going to enjoy this session because we're talking about that particular aspect of your life that makes your life comfortable or that makes your life uncomfortable. We're not just talking about your salaries. We're not talking about your investment. We're also talking about what we feel or what we think the employers or our employers should do in order to make us comfortable when it comes to financial security. We're also going to be tapping a lot about women in business, how to understand money, how to understand security, where to put your money. What are some of those things that you need to do, that you need to focus on in order to be financially stable? What are some of the effects of not being financially stable? Today we have as usual, we have two speakers. Our speakers are experts at what they do. Both of them have spent more than 9-10 years in the corporate environment. They do understand everything that those working in a 9-to-5 job experience, and they also understand what those running their own business understand when it comes to placing your money in the right places, when it comes to being financially secure, when it comes to investing, when it comes to understand the role that money plays in your life. Sometimes we go along and we say, it is just money. After all, what is money? But we have to understand that the power of money is so powerful. I always say it's not how much you have in your bank account. It's not how much money you have, but it's about how the little money that you have, or how the money that you have, the role that the money that you have play in your life. So today on this show, we're going to be looking at all these things. We're going to be asking some real questions that you've asked yourselves, questions that you really want the answer. And the good thing about the Corporate Women in Leadership is that our speakers are happy to follow up with you post this show. They are happy to come on our mentorship program. They are happy to dedicate some time to support you, not on the subject matter, but in your career growth. So I'm going to be introducing our speakers one after the other. Let's start with Eva. I'll pop her on the screen. She's a CIMA, Qualified Financial Management Consultant, who spent the past 9 years helping large organizations improve decision-making, profitability, and cash flow. She has worked with the NHS, Network Rail, KPMG, and other companies with leisure profession, technology, and retail. She recently launched a consultancy business, making her the right person to talk about this, because sometimes we tell ourselves, I want to work for a few years and I want to set up my own business. So Eva is going to be our first speaker for the day. And our next speaker for today is Anwi. Anwi Ba is a qualified business architect consultant with over a decade's experience with Tier 1 in investment and banks. Before then, she was in over 30K debt and lost her first car to Belly. How cool is that? So we might want to find out, wow, that's a lot of money. This is a whole lot of experience, losing your cars to beliefs. I'm sure some of you are in that position in your lives now, when you're being threatened or when you're being having all these letters, from bailiffs. But let's continue with Anwi. Before she was 23, so all this happened to her even before she turned 23. So she's learned along the way that it is important that wealth is a state of mind and building. Protecting and being able to transfer your wealth, tax efficiency is a foundation wealthy, successful business owners put in place from day one. Today, she helps business women and men. Today, she helps business women and men, meaning if you're a man and you're watching or listening, it doesn't mean you can't go to her. You can go to her. But she does help business women turn their income-generating business into six-figure wealth building vehicle in 90 days while traveling around with her husband and kids. And that's my life. Actually, that's what I want to, that's how I want to live my life. I want to live my life traveling with my husband and my kids while making money, isn't it? So let's get Eva on the screen and find out how it is where she's tuning in from. Hi, Eva.
Hi everyone. Hi. Thank you so much for having me, and thank you for such a lovely introduction. I don't need to say anything else.
You deserve that, girl. I've read your profile, and I think you've come through a long way. You've put your path into the corporate world. Now you're on your own. You are where most women out there want to be. I'm sure most women out there want to gain an experience, gain the money that they want, and start up their own consultancy or their own business. But before getting to the level where you're actually setting that up, it is always very important for us to understand the basics. So tell us a little bit about whoever is and where you're tuning in from today.
Hi. So I live in Milton Keynes, which is a town between London and Birmingham. And in January this year, I left my last corporate job as I felt like I just wanted to take some time out and just to figure out what is it I want to do next. And the obvious answer was, well, I need to start building my own business, work independently. I've got so much knowledge and experience, which I would like to share with smaller businesses and startups and help them build and run profitable businesses. I'm a really driven person that really wants to make a difference. And perhaps that's one of the reasons something pushed me to start to become an independent consultant. So it is my journey. I'm still at the beginning of the journey, but what I've learned a lot, and obviously the COVID lockdown, I think taught most of us not just mental resilience, but also how to deal with your money even better, and how to use that learning experience to actually to look at your finances in a different way, to look at not just the short term, what is now, but also look at what's going to happen. Will I survive? Is my business going to survive in the next 3, 6, 12 months? What is it? Where am I heading? So that's one of the questions I've been asking myself as an individual, and also the questions I'm asking current businesses I'm working with. So yeah, I'm really excited about the journey, and I'm pleased to share my insights with listeners and anyone who wants to listen.
Thank you so much, Eva. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you for accepting to join us. I know sometimes conversations about money is truly a difficult conversation to discuss as we figure out this money. It's a difficult conversation to hold, but then we are here, we're talking about it, and we hope through this conversation that we're having, some women out there will be able to understand how to manage their money, not just when they are working 9 to 5, but also if they are business women and they're looking at putting their money in the right direction. So let's welcome our second speaker for today, Anwi. I've known Anwi almost all my adulthood, and when she talks about her experience and her issues with money, I truly understand, because I've been like a big sister to her, and I'm so proud to see her where she is today. I'm so proud when I look at her track record, I look at her clients, I look at all the things that she does, all the sessions that she does online, and I tell myself, this is Anwi. This is the Anwi that I used to know when she was a little girl, when she used to visit me and she would climb on top of my car and dance and in the free life. But now she's this top business analyst who left a very, very high-paying job to start up her own consultant business. This is purely because where she was, she understands that we need more women like her to help us in difficult financial situations to get off that situation. More women like her, more women like Eva. So I'm just going to pop Anwi on the screen and I'll let her speak a little bit about herself and why she decided to start her own consultancy. Hi, Anwi. We are with you, Anwi. How are you? Anwi is tuning in from Jamaica.
How are you guys doing? Thanks for having me, Adeline.
Hiya. So, Anwi, please tell us a little bit about... Yeah, just tell us about you and how...
pretty much... You've pretty much said most of it, but basically, my track record with finances did not start great at all. I wasn't born with a silver spoon or anything of the sort, and a lot of what I am doing now was through, again, self-experience, so to say. And one thing that clicked for me was when I was working in the corporate world, I've been in financial services for over 20 years now, actually. But what made me to start work Fluency was that one of the last roles I was doing was with a private bank. And this private bank, the minimum for you to be one of their clients is 5 million. You need to have 5 million for you to be able to be one of their clients. And a lot of what these clients were doing were just business owners. But the way they structured their business and the way they structured their finance was very, very different from the way the average Joe does it. And none of it had to do with their 5 million or their 12 million, how much ever it is that they bring into the bank. It was literally to do with simple system processes and mindset and the way they went about it. So that's what I really like sharing, especially with business women, and giving us, I guess, the upper edge in regards to how we go about our finances, achieving financial freedom, achieving time freedom, and also literally living life as we choose, literally walking in our purpose. So that is what I love doing, and that is what Wealth Fluency is all about. So I'm quite excited to be here today.
Okay, so thank you so much, and we thank you for truly joining us. We know it's you're in Jamaica and the time difference is crazy. How is COVID-19 back there in Jamaica? Is everything getting to normal?
They have been quite amazing here, very different from Boris Johnson and how he's dealing with it out there. We've been in lockdown since March 13th. We are on curfew, so everybody has to be home by 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. So they are dealing with it very well. Schools are closed up until September, and there's no two ways about it. I think it was this week that they finally decided to open up the beach, and again, social distancing is still in place, and it's, was it 10 people for social gatherings, and then for weddings and funeral is no more than 50. So they're very, very on the ball, I must say.
At least someone is doing something nicer than what we're having here in England. So thank you. I mean, in England, we all know, Eva and I, we know how it is. And it's good to know that people are doing things differently, different places. For those of you joining us, thank you so much for joining us. I'm just going to introduce the guest again. I've got Anwi Mba, who is a business architect consultant. And I have Eva Golabek, who is a financial management consultant, ACMA. And today we're talking about, and of course, I am Adeline Sede Kamga, the founder and the CEO of Fab-Afrique magazine. And if you're joining us today, we're talking about financial security. We're talking about financial security and how we can play our parts, what we need to do, all that we need to do. So our speakers again, Eva and Anwi, they'll be with us for an hour and a half. So financial security, saving and investment for the future. We're also going to be exploring how you can ensure that your personal finances are you're not living, above your means, or supporting you with tips on how to plan for the better, and also exploring what employers can do now to help you. Not just now, but I mean, if you're employed, somewhere, what are some of the, I don't want to say obligations, but what are some of the nice to do, some of the things that employers can do to help you manage your finances? So let's see who has joined us today, should we? And let's see if there are any questions that we need to take at the moment. All right, so I'll go to my comment box and I will see that Mercy Ngesan, thank you so much. Great topic. Thank you so much. Yes, it's a very good topic. Thank you for joining us. Fortune Danielle Fabiola, those are goals. So traveling with my families, I love this. Those are goals. Oh, traveling with my families while making money. Exactly. Nuella, thank you for being present all the time. Thank you for being here. I know you're following us because you think this is a very important platform for you to gain knowledge, and that's what you're about to gain today. Hi, Chantal. How are you doing? Thank you for joining us, lady. I'm so happy people joining us, and we have quite a few people watching us now. And as the time goes on, we're going to see this number high. And ladies, I'm going to leave this ball on your, leave this ball on your court or in your court, and I'm going to expect that we all have a very nice time. Hi, Gorati. Thank you. Very needed. Exactly. Hi, Helmi. Thank you for joining us. Hello, hello, hello. So let's see where we start. Personal finances. let's start with the first question. Anwi, personal finance. We know this is a very delicate topic. How will you describe this? I think, Anwi, you can start.
When it comes to finances and personal finance.
Yeah, I'm just going to put that there.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can. Yeah.
Okay. So when it comes to personal finance, it's very much in the word. It's very, very personal. And it's not something that it should be reflected outwards. It literally starts with you and where you are and understanding what your relationship is with money. So this usually comes from how you grew up, your childhood, what your parents said, what your siblings say, and also what your parents' personal experience have been up until the point when you say enough is enough. And it's really much that you have to deal with all that rather than sweep it under the carpet, because a lot of that will come out. Money is an emotional thing. Money is an energy, and you really have to be able to understand yourself to be able to then, overcome and also be able to work with your weaknesses as well as your strength to achieve your financial goals. So it's very much a personal thing. It's very much understanding you, your mindset, your habits around money, and also your relationship with money.
I think that is very explicit and coming from where we come from, and taking into consideration the fact that financial education is something that we don't grow into the way we should, except you are from a specific part of the country, Cameroon in our case. Eva, from your background, what would you consider personal finance? Is it pretty much the same? Is there something else you want to add?
Right, I deal with mainly business performance. So I could give you a accounting definition of cash flow, but I would say personal finance to me, based on my experience from working in retail banking, my definition of finances at the time was your cash balance at the end of the month. So how much money you've earned and how much money you've spent gives you a net cash position. And I used to think that's my personal finances. But then over the years, I've understood that personal finances is not just the bank account balance. It's also about any other assets you may have, such as, investments or pensions, or let's say you may have a house, which is your asset. But then on the other hand, you have a house, and like most of us in the UK, we have an asset, but we also have a big liability because we have a big mortgage. So to me, the finances is also what you owe to other institutions, to other people, what other bills you still have to pay. So to me, this is all included under your personal finances. And it's not just about what you have now, but also planning about, okay, what will be your finance, or what position would you like to have in the future? What sort of emergency funding you want to have? So it's not just about what you have now, but also about planning for your future goals.
Thank you, Eva. I think that's a great addition to, and I think it just honed on a different direction to what Anya said. But it's about putting all these things together, evaluating your worth, isn't it? So we move on to the next question, which is more or less about how we acquire finances. Because when we talk about personal finances, we're talking about all these things. It could be what you have now, it could be the asset and the things that you have achieved over the years. And sometimes we ask ourselves, how do we get there, or how did we get here? So from your perspective, Anwi, I'm sure you know this. People working 9 to 5, have they always have issues about, I am a good example. When I used to do 9 to 5, I used to find myself in that position whereby I'm always short of money. I'm always borrowing from Paul. And then at the end of the month, I will pay back Paul, and then I'll borrow from Peters. So I have this recycling, cycle that goes round and round and round. Why do you think, Anwi, that people, especially those working 9 to 5, has difficulties managing their finances or their salaries? Why do they find themselves in difficulties?
Well, the main thing around, again, the, I guess, roller coaster is you've set expectations for yourselves. You've set your expectations and you want to meet those expectations. And you've not quite delved into why those are your expectations of yourself. And a lot of it is, again, what our parents expect us to do is also what the society expects us to be. And it's very hard to kind of break out of that. It's very hard to kind of stop the whole have a beer budget and living a champagne lifestyle, which is a lot of the issue. Okay, living above your means and also trying to basically accomplish everything at once rather than taking it literally bite size at a time. So it's understanding exactly how you can, I guess, make the most of your salary where you are comfortable in what it is that you're doing. Because a lot of the times when people are put on a financial plan of some sort, they feel like it's a diet. Anything that is restrictive, usually people struggle to stick to, especially in the diet industry. I mean, there's so many diet fads and a lot of people struggle to do with that because it's restrictive. And everything has to be around control of the portion size and also finding a balance. So it's looking at your salary and saying, okay, this is my minimum. You know, when you go through and you start looking at a budget, you look at, okay, I need to pay my rent, I need to pay my electricity, and I need to pay my light bill. Without those, I am in trouble. Those are my necessities. Then you go into your wants. You know, what is wrong with your Ford Fiesta? Why do you want to go and buy a Mercedes? They still take you from A to B. And a lot of that, which is what I was saying earlier, comes to personal. I need to look like this. I need to show that I'm like this. I need to make everybody think I'm like this. And half of them don't really care at the end of the day. So it's literally coming back to you and making it stretch for you and making your money work for you and balancing it so that you know, okay, you know, there's the 70, 20, and 10 rule where 70% of your salary is for your living expenses, you know, 10% is towards investment and then 20% is towards debt. And if you can split it out like that and literally as you go along, you kind of change it because it's a journey. It's a journey that never ends until you exit this life form, but your circumstances change. So whilst you start now, and it might be that you're only able to put your 10% is maybe £5, but start with that £5 because you are putting in place a habit. Because the biggest thing about finance, personal finance, has got nothing to do with the amount. It's got to do with the habits you're putting in place. Because right now you could put your £5 towards investment. When it becomes £50, it won't be a struggle for you. When it becomes £50,000, it won't be a struggle because it's already a habit for you. Mm-hmm. So it's literally putting in place those habits regardless of how much it is. So your 70, 20, 30 might be £20, £10, and £1. Do your thing. And you would see that as you are changing, as you're walking along your journey, those figures will change with you. So putting in place financial routines is the most important. It has nothing to do with how much you're putting away.
So has it got anything to do with how much you earn as well? Has it got, you know, because sometimes how much we earn can actually influence or can actually play a big role in how much we're going to have at the end of the month, or if we're going to need more money at the end of the month. So has it got anything to do with how much we earn? I mean, our salary is not being able to cover.
Not at all.
So, and why is that? Why
not at all? Your salary is your salary is stable. Your salary doesn't change. You are the one that is the variable.
Okay.
So instead of going for I guess £2,000 a month rent, could I downsize so that I fit within my salary, so that I'm able to live within my means, so that there's disposable income for me to actually follow my goals? Because living paycheck to paycheck is literally the worst thing you can do for yourself. And also remember that your kids are picking up on this. Your kids are picking up on this lifestyle. Your kids are picking up on this energy that they would not know as well why they are the way they are. And we have to find out why we are. And you see that a lot of things are coming from what you used to see with your parents. You might not necessarily understand that that's what it is, but you absorb it. So it's got nothing to do with the salary. It's got to do with your means. Where are you living right now? Do you really need to be on Bishop Avenue right now on a 20K salary? Seriously? I know everybody thinks you're fantastic, and when you go to the club, everybody thinks like you're the bee's knees, but you're on a 20K salary. You can do a lot more than spend it on a Bishop Avenue apartment.
I think I like the referral to to the high earn things that you've mentioned, because sometimes we fail to see how our lifestyle can truly affect our finances. But also we have this notion of saying that where you live or where you associate yourself can give you opportunities. So is there a particular time in one's life where one can decide to hang out in a certain area, live in a certain area, meet with certain people, go to a certain club, go to a certain bar because they're looking for something? Or do you think I don't know, I mean to say, living within our means, yes, that is great. But sometimes we know the thirst of risk. We know that I personally, I might want to fly business class, even if I have my 1 million, which is my 1,000 pound, which is my 1,000 pound. And I'll say, let me fly business class because I can meet, I can meet a top director on flight, which is one of the places where I've met most of my clients. And well, maybe this is from a business perspective, but I guess your example can go both ways, both from the business and from the life or personal or employees perspective. Because I would say if I live on high end of town, I have this chance of meeting people that can make my life grow really faster. I can network with people that can add value to my life financially. Do you think this is a very risky way of living your life?
Is that for me?
Oh yeah, you can just round up the question and then we can move to Eva. I'll just give you an example of where people are at the time in their life and what they're looking for. Because at sometimes you might say, if I have my £1, I have to spend my £1 on this, knowing that maybe there is tomorrow or I don't know. So do you think it depends on where people are at a particular time in their life, or do you think this is a long-term plan that people should incorporate as they grow?
No, you should start from now. You should start from now. I do not think it's advisable to kind of say, I won't start investing until I hit 30K. When I don't, it's very fluffy, it's very cloudy. You don't have a definite point. You don't know when you're going to hit 30K. So you do not know when you're going to start investing. But we can kind of predict the lifespan nowadays. And the longer you get to kind of look at your future finances, the more struggle it is. In the UK, we have a lot of older, silver poverty, as they say, where a lot of older and senior citizens are living in poverty. And a lot of that has got to do, again, with 2008 and the crash that happened, and again, the pensions dropping. But also it's got a lot to do with the planning. Okay, state pension is null and void. It's not really something. Is it about £100 a week right now? And if you look at your current lifestyle, can you live on £100 a month? When you're older, that expense is going to go up because you also have the medical aspect of it. So it's got nothing to do with salary, and it's got nothing to do with where you are in life. It's got to do with you putting those in place. As I said, even if it's £5, you take that £5 and you still split it in those percentages and put that money away. It could be 50p.
Yeah,
doesn't matter. Start putting habits in place.
Eva,
and also, you mentioned something about you have to live on a certain street.
Yes.
Never pay to be around certain people.
Okay.
Networking is fine, but don't trade money to network in that aspect. If you feel that people are going to talk to you, people are going to network with you because of where you live, then you're not necessarily in the right place. Okay. So you really have to consider why you're going networking and what you're looking to achieve. What are your intentions for that networking? If it's just to go and look good, then hey, you've already put yourself in that position. But usually networking is usually for a reason, to go to a certain space to take you either your business to the next level, or either to talk to brokers because you're looking to, you know, invest in property and so forth. And a lot of these people are looking from it from a business perspective. They're not looking at which street you live on or so forth. It's what are you bringing to the table?
I like what are you bringing to the table. I mean, and this just goes to throw a little bit of light to my community in particular. Our community is the one that you need to, in order for you to belong to a certain class, or a certain, for you to be at a certain level, you need to be with certain people, eat with certain people, wear a certain designer brand, and do all these things that these people do. Go to their places, live in their area. And Annie, with a webfluencer, just let us, I mean, she's telling us that if you're paying, you know, more than you're earning to be in that place, then you're not setting your priority right, because that is not what you need to do in order to have that, you know, that, in order to achieve what you want to achieve. So instead, you need to see what is it that you're bringing on the table? What is it that you're bringing? And whatever you're bringing, people should be able to buy from you, no matter where you live, no matter what you're wearing, isn't it, Annie? So it's about us prioritizing, us setting the precedent, us being authentically us, and doing the things or living within our means. Eva, would you say that is? Would you say it is a similar thing? You know, from your perspective, 9 to 5. People who work 9 to 5, or people who are in a day's job, at the end of the month, they find themselves struggling to, you know, to survive because the salary is never enough. Is there something you want to add to what you just said?
Yeah, I would agree with Edwin in terms of managing finances. It's not dependent on what type of job you're doing in terms of whether it's 9 to 5 or part-time job. It's about habits you have and about around money and managing and how you manage your money effectively. So, for example, when I was earning below UK average, when I was working in retail banking, I was actually much better in managing my money. Why? Because I was in an environment where I was looking at, you know, customer finances, looking at, you know, how overdrawn people were, how much debt they had, and obviously how mentally and drained or tired they were because of being constantly overdrawn and being in debt. And that's just made me realize, well, how important it is to actually look at your bank account on a regular basis, whether it's weekly, monthly. You have to really look at your, you know, income and also an outgoing. So if you can't increase your income, well, you have to reduce your outgoings to become financially stable and have that financial stability. So I would say it's about not about how much you earn, it's about how you manage your money. And sometimes I would say if people cannot manage the money well when they are employed, I think it's to do with lack of or limited financial awareness in terms of how I can spend my money better. Anwin mentioned about the 70-20-10 rule. I've heard of 50-30-20 rule, where you should be looking at your essential outgoings shouldn't exceed more than 50% of your income. Then you've got 30%, which are like discretionary expenses, something you can probably reduce, especially in the current climate. And then the 20%, if you can, you should be saving on the rainy days, or in Poland we call it black days. Save it for emergencies. And also out of the 20, again, I don't know if the rule changed, but when I used to work in a bank, they were saying half of your savings should be in your normal savings account, something you can access quickly, and then half of your savings, so the 10%, should be in a fund or investment which works harder for you. So, but again, it's not something I can advise on, but it's just a simple rule in terms of how you can make sure that you manage money better and you feel more, you have that peace of mind around money. Because at the end of the day, finance is a basic need. Is a providing shelter and food to yourself and family is a basic need. And I think if we can't really deal with the basic need, satisfy our basic need, that's going to affect the entire other areas of our lives.
So Eva, I think you've made some basic steps which I found, you know, very interesting, and I think it's very applicable to almost every one of us watching and following up today. And you've also pointed, you know, savings, you know, and if you should save your money in your savings account. And I like the fact that you've advised that it is okay, because there is an argument that says there's no point in putting your money in a savings account because it's not going to generate any income. But I love the fact that you've said you can put a bit of your money in a savings account because you can access it, and you can, because I've been in a situation in the past where I have money in a savings account, but I cannot access this money. And unfortunately, this was a Christmas period, and it was about £6,000, and I couldn't access this money because I've put it in a blocked account where I've told the bank I want to take it this time, and then I had an emergency. It was a serious emergency. I needed money. And the bank made me write all sorts of letters. It had to go through process, and I couldn't access this money to deal with the issues that I had. It was a big blow to me at the time because I truly needed it. So if I had heard, or if I knew that, keep part of the money in a savings account where you can access, and keep the other one in a savings account which can generate income or generate more money, then I think that's a very interesting point, and thank you so much for that. Let's see who's joining us and what they're saying. Let's just see if our audience got some feedback for us. Question. Let's just show. Oh, Marion, another good day. Yes, girl, this is a great day. Yeah, I've seen this one. Let's go further down. Let's start with okay, let's start with Dr. Sylvia. Oh, let's start with Dr. C. Oh, oh my God, we've got loads of comments here. Okay, let's start with Mercy. Amounts versus habits. I'll just take them very quickly. Amounts versus habits. That's the bomb, she says. Thank you. I mean, it's more about the habits, not the amounts. Mercy, hello, paycheck to paycheck kills. Fortune Danielle says, facts. Sylvia is agreeing with you girls 100%. Mercy, wants versus needs versus earning. That is something that we all need to print and put on our fridges. Needs, wants, needs, earnings. Which one do I need now? And Danielle said, this question is straight from my head. Sometimes you do it for the sake of networking as a business person. I think she's referring to the question where you have to be in places where you will meet the right people and you have to spend more. I remember when I started my business, I did a lot of that, and that's why I'm bringing it up, because I know some of the ladies who are listening can, when I started my business, I did a lot of that. Being in the right places, traveling all the way, doing that. Maybe it helped, maybe it didn't. Maybe the money that I had spent at that time to do all these things could have been used to pay a business consultant who could have given me much more, much more than going to all these places. You could even earn 100K, and at the end of the month, once your salary comes in, you are on 20K overdraft, credit card debts. Thank you, Sylvia. That is so true. Linda says hi. Sylvia, I think not risky. I think it's not risky for you to be in these places, but not very wise. Just as Anne said, have confidence in yourself, dreams, etc. And still strive to engage and meet only those people who will take you closer to your dreams and your vision. Thank you so much, Global. I think that's a very, very important point. Awesome. She's agreeing. Kudos. She's saying thanks. Daniela says thank you. And Dr. Sylvia, be confident and believe in yourself and the value that you're there to add. And Mercy says, you know the truth about your finances. Do not lie about it to belong. That is something that most of us want to do. We want to belong to a certain class, certain category. We want the world to say that, hey, I'm this, I'm that. But we know the truth. So low financial IQ is something, Sylvia said, low financial IQ is something that kills most people. Low financial IQ is something that makes people to leave the recycling generation. cash after cash after cash, salary after salary. How do we expand on investment than consumption? That is a question. The economy has seen some ups and downs with people investment, so there is a hesitation from most people. So that's a question that any of you can take. That's good to know. Put part of your money in savings. Exactly what I just said. So I think we have a very good feedback from our audience. Thank you so much for really contributing. Financial literacy is important. I think this brings us to the next question, which is about understanding how does savings and investing build financial security. Henri, do you want to give us a little bit of tip on that? Why do we say savings and investing build financial security? Is that true? Does it?
Well, you and Eva have already. It does, absolutely, 100%. And you have already touched on it. You bringing up the example of you trying to access your 6K, and then Eva mentioning the fact that not everything should be in a savings account per se. So the understanding is that you have to split it, as Eva was saying, in regards to what is your short-term goal, what is your long-term goal, and what is your medium-term goal. And this then changes what you do with your money. So your short-term, that is where you just put it in a savings account. And that is not necessarily for you to make an income. It's not necessarily to put it to work. That is your emergency fund, or what a colleague of mine says is your freedom fund. Because again, you're speaking good to your money. So you put the money away for your freedom fund. Just in case anything happens, you are able to, get to it immediately. If you have to fly somewhere for an emergency, if you have to take money and so forth. So that one is just easily accessible, and that they usually say 3 to 6 months salary should be what is in your emergency fund. But I kind of say start with, what it takes to cover your white goods in your home. So in case your washing machine goes down, can you cover it? Start from there, and then you can build on from there. But that is kind of where I'm seeing things. So £1,000, something to aim for. And then you have like your medium term, which is usually, like where you put your 6K. And what you want to do, if you're a spender like me, you want to kind of put measures in place so that my financial habit that doesn't work to my benefit is not detrimental to me. So because I'm a spender, then I'll put it in an account where, you have to give the bank 30 days before you're able to take out the money. So, half the time you won't be able to take out the money because it's not something that was targeted for. So this is usually where you kind of put your money for a deposit for your house. And, this is where the ISAs sit. ISAs are usually medium term, where you're putting money for deposit for a house, where you're putting money to buy a new car, and, 5 years kind of thing. And then you have your long term, which is where your CIS lives. So these are your personal investments, and these are your personal pensions and so forth, which is more long term. And in this category, you really have to understand what your risk appetite is, and also what your time horizon is in regards to where you want to put your stuff. And this also will have an impact, or your age will have an impact on it, on where you are in life. So what I'll tell to women is slightly different from what I'll tell to men. What I tell to a 20-year-old is significantly different from what I tell a 35-year-old. What I tell a mom is different from what I tell a single person. So all of this come in to kind of make you understand that, okay, right now I am going to invest, and I'm younger and I don't have any dependents. So maybe I'm going to go more into startups. I'm going to go more into emerging markets. And as you get older, you go for something more stable. So we're looking at bonds, where it's, again, very, very stable. We're looking at dividend funds and so forth, which is slightly more stable and doesn't fluctuate with the market. So dividing it in those 3 categories is really good, and separating the two. So they're not one and they're not both together. So your savings account and your investment account, don't lump it together as investments. They're lump it together as savings. They're 2 separate things. And usually when I say savings, I'm talking to your freedom fund, the money that you can go into the bank and withdraw now. Okay. Everything else, so your ISAs, I call them ISAs because those are medium-term funds. I do not call them savings, because then it helps you in your head. It helps you differentiate them, so that you already know this is medium term, is something that I don't have access to immediately. And then you have your long term, which again is much more further in the future. These are 10 years above kind of strategies. So definitely sit down and see where you are in your life, and what your dependencies are, and allocate a percentage to every single one of these. Don't leave any of them zero. And also please allocate your debt to it as well. So maybe right now you have debt, so it has a higher percentage. Okay, and then as you change and maybe your debt reduces, so you have that disposable income, then you can increase how much you're putting away either in your freedom fund or in your investments. And I am a spender, so I know that I can go out and easily spend hundreds of pounds on the most idiotic things like shoes. And because I know that's the way I am, and if you're a woman, retail therapy does things to you, I have emotional fund, so to say, because usually I'm usually in a certain state of mind when I do things like that I put 30 pounds away, because you're not in that state every single month. That state probably happens maybe once every 3 months, once every 6 months. When you do that spending, then you do not have the guilt, because you've been saving towards when you're in that state for a long time, that when you spend the money, you're like, that's what the money was allocated for. So that's what I mean by you have to work with yourself. Don't try to change who you are, because it's an uphill battle. Work with yourself and then put mitigations in place for when you know you're going to be weak. And as a spender as well, I try to automate as much as possible. Especially when you're 9 to 5, when something hits your account the 25th, everything hits your account the 25th. And so the money that needs to go to Nationwide gets pulled out and puts to Nationwide. The one that needs to go to the junior ISAs gets pulled out and goes to the junior ISA, whether it is £100, whether it's £50, everything is automated so that it is not waiting on me to take out the money and put it somewhere else and so on and so forth. Because then easily, but now, oh, I forgot. Oh, it's already the 30th and I've spent it already. Oh, there's this other thing that is much more important. Oh, my friend told me about this amazing investment, so I'm going to use the money for that instead. But if you've automated it and the money comes out, standing order direct debits, then you have less chances of you getting in your own way. And also you have less chances of falling for the shiny object syndrome. The everything that glitters must be gold.
I love the shining object syndrome, you call it. Because we all love it, and that I think that is where that's how most women spend their money. You know, at some point I stopped going to the shopping center, because each time I go, there is this new perfume. I have a weakness for perfume, and I don't care how much it costs, you know. So I guess I am that one person that will go into Debenhams or into shop and just see this new perfume, and I want to have that. You know, every fragrance for me is so. We all have our weaknesses, and we need to, as Annie said, put things aside and learn how not to spend. So Eva, with regard to savings and investing and building financial security, I know we were having a chat with you, and you mentioned how you were able to save and invest for a future, for a financial security in the future, and you also mentioned a few steps that you took. So is this something you want to share with the audience? Because I thought that was a really inspirational story. And if you could just very quickly tell us how it happened and what you did, then people will be able to look at it from a much more personal level. And, you know, so yes.
Oh, is it about when I bought my house?
Yes, that's it, yeah.
Right, okay, so I've learned about, I guess, how to save from my, let's say, retail banking job. I didn't earn much, but I was still, able to save a little. But then before I bought my house in 2017, I spent obviously a number of years of saving, and I knew I wanted to get a house, but then I just wasn't really in the right place to buy. And then at the beginning of 2017, I set my goals at the beginning of the year, and I've been setting my goals, personal goals, for the last 4 years now, where I've set myself a goal saying, I have a house in a green location, not far from London, and close to the airport. And I put down also the actions, the steps that I need to take. So number one was phone all the local, research all the different regions I want to buy a house in. Step number two, contact all the estate agents, and then finding someone to assist me with the purchase, or with house hunting, such as my friends or colleagues. So I did obviously put down all the actions I needed to take between from January onwards, and I set myself a date. I have a house by end of June 2017. And what happened was in 10th of July 2017, I was moving into my first house. And what helped me actually, it was actually having the plan, having the goal, knowing why I wanted to get that house, and having a simple action plan in place that I was applying every single weekend. I was looking at the houses almost every single weekend between January and end of April. That's when I made an offer on my house. And at the same time, I was saving much more during that period, just to increase my deposit. And that just shows that sometimes it's about not how much you save, but it's about doing this on a consistent basis, starting early, especially if you have a big goal like buying a house, and also really specifying that roughly the target. And I know things can go air-shaped, like now with the COVID-19. You know, we had lovely plans to have holidays and to have, you know, increase, like some businesses were planning to increase the profit and sell by X percentage. Obviously, that's now out of the window. But at the same time, it's just having like setting some realistic expectations. And once you do that, and obviously you take the steps, you review the you know, how well you're doing, you're going to get where you want to be eventually. And even if you don't get there, you will learn a lot about the
right. Yeah, at least you've tried. So I think that's I love the steps. You know, it's just like you want to buy a car, and each time you know, it's not like this car is everywhere around you. You're driving in that car, you know. So psychologically, you have to truly be focused on that particular objective, that goal, that house, that car, that shoes, that thing, and you have to put the right amount of money in order for you to achieve that. Let's see if we have some new questions. Yeah, we do have some new contribution. This one is a long one. I'm just going to read it because I think it's important. Marion, it's really important to understand how money works. There is so much I'm learning now that I wish I knew earlier, but better late than never. True, don't keep all your cash in your regular savings account. Let part of it be in your investment. You could save in time deposit in microfinance institution, for example. That's where I come from. We have microfinances like the credit union that we have in the UK, and get higher interest rates than what standard banks offer. Or better still, you can invest in a business so it builds wealth over time. And that is why we have Wealth Fletcher, we have Ava, let's say bonds, really. Bonds, places advising on bonds, and but to say emerging market, yes, she likes that. And let's talk about the rate of returns and how much you have to put in. That's true. That's a very is any of you aware, or can you talk a little bit about the rate of returns and how much you have to put in? Is this a point that you might want to talk about, Anwi? Blaise is talking about the rate of returns and how much you have to put in.
Rate of returns?
I think
on what?
I think it's
rate of returns on what?
On your savings or investments. So I guess it's the benefit you want to get out of by investing money. So it's not really my area. It's more financial planning. So that sounds like Zanwin's area.
Okay, so I think with this, we're going to come back and maybe expatiate a little bit with that. But let's see. Eva, I want you to tell me a little bit. I know we've discussed about knowing that you're financially secured. What are the signs? Because you cannot touch financial security. You cannot touch it, isn't it, Anwi? This is something that it is a psychological thing, because one thing I've learned about money is that the more you have, the more you want. So when is it the right time for you to say, you know what? I am secure. I have financial security. I cannot cool down.
Yeah, it's a good question. Like you said, and Anwin touched on this. It's a psychological thing. I think you feel financially secure. Yes, it is obviously it can be based on how much money you have on that bank account. But to me, financial security is a peace of mind you have, that you don't have to worry about paying those bills on a monthly basis. You don't have to worry about, how am I going to buy this car, or how am I going to buy this house, or am I going to have a reasonable standard of living when I retire? So to me, being financially secure means you have the peace of mind, and you don't worry about these things, and you have that freedom to focus on other things. And to me, well, the sign where you which shows that you're not financially secure, well, first of all, it's your bank balance, where you go, let's say you go overdrawn on every single month and every single year. If you're consistently overdrawn, you're struggling to repay the overdraft and also other debts, that will put that pressure on you, and you will be mentally drained and or possibly overworking, because you'll be taking an additional job or a contract to pay off the debts. So you will definitely feel that mentally and physically, and it could affect you physically as well. And another thing I would say is in terms of financial security, is just knowing what you want, what your plans are, what your future plans are. Because let's say you may not need, let's say, £15,000 in your savings account. If you let's say you're not planning to buy a house, or you're not planning an expensive wedding, for example. So again, it all depends on your future goals, your future expectations of your expenses, and also your current outgoing. So again, it's, you could be financially secure if you have little in your savings account, but that's because your lifestyle is different. So again, it depends on your future goals, lifestyle.
So I think, yeah, future goal, lifestyle, very important. And also, I just want to add that sometimes we feel that we are financially secure, and we feel that we should stop. But as Eva just pointed, we need to go beyond, a little bit beyond what we feel we're comfortable with, just in case there are rainy days. And is there something you wanted to add to this? Is there something you want to add to understanding or knowing that you're financially secure, or that you have financial security? What are some of the signs of stability?
For me, it's just asking yourself certain questions. And if you can answer yes to all of them, then you're basically where you want to be, because it's a very personal journey. Some people are aiming just for 50K and they're fine. Some people are aiming for 5 million and they're fine. So can you sleep at night? Nothing is keeping you awake in regards to finances. Are you able to say, okay, if I don't work for 6 months, I am fine? Can you say, if my business gets no customer for a year, I am fine? Can you say, if I retire today, I know that I'll be taken care of? Okay, then you are financially secure. So it's literally asking yourselves those questions, and depending on what your answers are, then you can determine if you're financially secure or not.
So what about, Eva, what about some of the issues. Sometimes we feel that stress or depression, or we think that money is, I don't want to say we say money is nothing, or we say money is not important, because we all know that money is very important. What are some of the issues that we can have if we have financial pressure, financial difficulties, financial issues? Is this something that can, how can this affect us? Or let's put the question this way, because I think we have the question right away. And we're going to answer some of the questions I just want to merge these two questions so that we don't run out of time. So what are some of the effects of an unstable financial situation?
Well, you've mentioned this. I think we've mentioned this already. It puts lots of stress on you, and not just on you. If you're being stressed, then you're going to stress your partner, your children. So the whole situation is going to affect your relationships you have with your partner, with your children, with your friends, and including your business colleagues, your employers. Your productivity will change as you're constantly focusing on getting that money in, paying off the debts, or being financially insecure. So if you're constantly thinking about money and how to have that comfort of being able to pay off all your outgoings, then that's going to definitely affect you mentally. And then as you experience a significant amount of stress, it will affect you on a physical level, and it could reflect in some sort of illness. And then again, the quality of the relationships you have when you, let's say, you have to borrow money from your friends or family members, and you're struggling to pay off those debts, that's going to significantly impact the relationships you have with them. So it's definitely an important area that all of us need to master, not just as a business owner within the business, but also as individuals, as we're running our own little businesses, like our households. So we need to make sure we at least break even, and then obviously generate a surplus, cash surplus, so that we can feel that comfort and just feel that peace of mind.
Thank you, Eva. And you really have something to add to some of the effects of unstable financial situation?
Oh, finances can make or break you, to be honest. And finances, as Eva said, it's a massive stress factor. Finances has been related to alopecia, so people losing their hair because of that. Backache, shoulder, neck ache. It's literally where you carry all the stress and pressure. And also it's been linked to, mental breakdown, literally psychosis, in regards to the financial pressures that you find yourselves under. And Eva mentioned around productivity, where you literally cannot function. The simple 1 + 1 that you can do in your sleep doesn't just add up any longer. So it all starts with the mind, and the mind has been linked to a lot of physical ailments, and finances plays a big part in that.
Thank you, Andrew. I think I want to take this time to maybe ask a few, maybe just see the reaction from our audience, and to thank everybody for who's joining us. Thank you, Vena. Thank you, thank you, those commenting. Thank you so much. This is very important. Your contributions are really, truly valuable. And let's see what Florence says. I'll just throw the questions, and anybody who can answer can answer. So, sorry, Florence is asking, which market is best to invest in currently? Fortune is saying financially free is the ultimate goal. Noella is saying, I know I'm financially secure when I don't lose my sleep over finances. Ramses is saying savings and investment for the future should stay in the forefront of the mind and finances, regardless of whatever comes around. That is really true. Truly, 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 that is true, Ramses. Thank you. But I think we want to find out, ladies, what should we invest in at the moment? What's the big thing to put the money in at the moment?
I personally haven't started investing yet. So I guess Anwin, I think that's your baby.
Okay, Anwi, where should I be putting my money? Where should I be putting my money in?
Okay, so the best market, it really depends, but a lot of ethical funds are coming up now as everybody's becoming environmentally more aware around pollution, around our carbon footprint. So it's worthwhile looking at the green market, and definitely developing countries are literally up and coming in regards to where you can put your money in. But when it comes to the best place to invest, there's always like that balancing act. Usually where you get the highest returns is where you have the highest risks as well. So if you're looking into this space, make sure that your ability to bear loss is pretty stringent. You do not want to put your £10,000 there, and if you lose it, you literally jump off a cliff. Okay, if you're putting £10,000 there and you lose it, it'll piss you off, but you can still get on. You can still pay your mortgage. You can still, afford your kids' school fees and so on and so forth. So when you're looking at best markets, it's usually more higher risk. So look at the startup market. That's a really good place of a lot of moving and shaking. Look at the disruption market as well. So fintech, insurance tech, and all those disruptive markets are a really good place as well. And as I mentioned, developing markets are a really good place. But what I'll mention as well is look at alternatives. Everything is not on the stock market. Look at alternatives in regards to right now. We are going to go through a recession, so it's a good place. It's a very much bears market. So you look at getting things right now for cheap or going into funds that were slightly overpriced earlier. So real estate as well is a good place to kind of look at as we hit the recession, because it's going to be a buyer's market as well. So look at alternative investments as well, not only the stock market. I know of individuals that invest in shipping shipping containers, good Rod. People that are investing in shipping containers as an alternative. People are investing in businesses. They literally just buy and sell businesses as an alternative, or also looking at being a funder. So look at Funding Circle, look at Kickstarters. Those are a good place as well in regards to looking at alternatives rather than just the stock market. Because the main thing around investment is being diversified. Have a diversified fund, and not necessarily fund from a stock market perspective, but have a diversified investment as an individual. So maybe a bit in property, a bit in stock markets, a bit in businesses, and so on and so forth. And in every step, I know, like in the business world, they say, go out of your comfort zone. That's where the money is. In investment, stay in your comfort zone. When you're investing, you have to understand what you're investing in, and you have to understand where the risk lies and where the yield lies. Because after 2008, a lot of the crash happened because people were sold things that sounded beautiful, but they didn't understand it. So they didn't understand where the risks were and what the impact might be. I want you to be able to know, if there's a virus killing all the oranges in Brazil, it's going to impact this specific emerging fund I have in this corner because of this reason or the other. You want to be aware of that. I'm not saying become an expert, but you want to go to your financial advisor and have a conversation. You don't want to go to a financial advisor and be sold at, because that's where they are there for, to help you achieve your goals. So you want to be in a place where you're having a conversation with them, and definitely dabble in the financial markets, because again, to get to a financial advisor, you need to be earning a certain amount. You need to be able to pay them a certain amount as well. So you can dabble in the market yourself. Look at there's loads of Robotechs around. There's Nutmeg, there's Wealthify, there is Wealth Fund. I could give you a whole list of different robo-advisors that you can start getting your feet wet and start understanding it and start putting minimum. So some of them you can start investing for as little as £50 a month to start getting yourself familiarized with that feeling and with that routine of investing. But if you don't hear anything I say, have a diversified fund. Don't put everything in one basket.
I think, and what we're going to do is, I think it's truly important. I mean, I kind of love the way you approach this, because I know most people, when you ask about investment, the first thing we say is real estate. But we all know that to invest in real estate, we have a lot of restrictions. It is not like you would just go and, invest in some of the other things that you've talked about. And real estate, good, great. But there are so many things that you need to have in place, like the credit, like deposit, like, market. And so fine. I love the fact that you've given us a whole range of different areas where people can fully invest in. And I would love you to send us a list of some of these things that you've mentioned so that we can share on our page, as we always do. And I also love the fact that you've mentioned insurance and you've mentioned fintech. Now, I am very super glad that you mentioned these two areas, because personally, I work as a consultant, and two of my clients, I can tell you, fintech, insurance. Trust me, I just need these two clients. These are the only two clients I need in my life. Meaning what? Meaning there's a lot of money in that area. I mean, Viola, if you're listening, you agree with me that I don't need any other clients. I have two of the best: insurance, fintech, financial technology. Look at things like that. So thank you so much for pulling our attention to this. I think I should stop being, well, not stop being a client or a consultant to these people, but I should look at getting into this business myself, because we're never happy with the money we make, is it? So so let's get on to, thank you so much, ladies. I think this was so Eva, I hope this has been really resourceful for you as well, because I know now that you're finished with the first part, the next part is going to be looking at where to invest, so you know who to contact. And this is one of the most beautiful things of the Corporate Women in Leadership. We bring women together, we bring people together. And if you feel you want to connect with any of our speakers, please do send us a little message, a little email, a little text, and we'll be able to put you together. So let's look at our next question. Our next question is more or less on Eva. Should employers put employees' financial wellness strategies in place for their, it had to be for their employees. So should they put these for their employees?
I would say definitely yes, but the financial awareness, I think, needs to start a bit earlier. In my view, it should start at school. We should be teaching children how to manage the, let's say, pocket money they are getting, or they need to get an understanding of how to how much something is worth. So I think we need to start early on, improve our education in terms of managing our money, and then take that education through to the secondary school and university. And then yes, I believe employers. Some of the employees I've worked in, they had lots of schemes for additional learning resources and also lots of campaigns around mental health. So if, let's say, employees express that one of the issues or stress they are experiencing is because of money, I think employers should actually do some sort of survey to find out, okay, what is the issue? What are the personal issues most of the employees experience or currently experience? And what are the things that they could do? So in terms of whether it's a workshop or session during lunch, explaining how even what profit and loss means, what is a cash flow, just using business reports, you can actually explain how business finances are being managed, and that could be then translated into personal finance. So there's lots of things that could be done. So I would say definitely communication with employees, finding out what is it they want to learn would be key before implementing any of the support, because some employees may not want to admit that they have a financial issue, because, like as I said, it's very personal. So we can't really force someone to actually go into the workshop, which is on money management. I think there needs to be a demand, but there needs to be an open discussion between the employer and employees in terms of how can we support you through COVID-19? What are the issues you're experiencing? Obviously, we will have, health issues but also financial issues, as lots of employees are being furloughed or people are now losing jobs. So there's lots of things that can be done, but I would say don't do it unless it's your employees would value that, unless there is a demand for that type of service. Yeah, that's my view.
Let's go on to the next one, which is financial stress has negative effects on performance. Anwi, how can employers work towards employee financial well-being? I think it's the same question, but just the other way around. This one, we're just trying to link this to performance, because as Eva has mentioned, sometimes people do not want to accept or agree with their situation or circumstances. But how can we answer this question?
Well, it's not only performance, it's also retention as well. If you want to retain your best staff, you want them to be at their best as well. And Eva has already mentioned the number one thing is money management, so workshops and so forth. So I'm not even going to go into that. But also the second thing that employers can do is also almost, again, be a bit more, I would say advertise, but not necessarily advertise, but be more visible in regards to the benefits that the employers have to take part in, that they can take part in. So like employees discount schemes, those are really, really good ways as well to kind of help in financial well-being space. Also salary schemes. So you have employers that allow you, if they say I sacrifice, that's it, salary sacrifice schemes, where you can pay a certain percentage of your salary, let's say towards your pension, and your employer matches it. So you almost get free money. So schemes like that, where there's salary sacrifice, where you can either sacrifice some of your salary towards pension, towards a car, towards various things like that, is worthwhile looking into. And definitely from an employer's perspective, make use of all the benefits that your employers provide, because it is there. The amount of people that do not use the pension match-up scheme, it's absolutely ludicrous, because they're willing to pay up to 6% of your salary if you pay 6% in. That is basically 6% free money, as to say, but it's not free because you're literally working for them. But again, it's something to help you top up. Also, loan schemes. So being an employee of a certain company, you get better interest rates when you're taking out loans and stuff like that. So that is worthwhile looking into. But all in all, it all starts with what Eva has said with around money management, financial literacy, and so forth. But employers provide a lot of benefits that employees either don't know about, because they give you that little booklet when you start and you put it in a drawer somewhere and never look at it again. So employers need to kind of be, as I say, push it a bit more, because if Eva said you can bring a horse to water, but you cannot force them to drink. Literally, we're forcing them to drink right now, because if they are not doing well, the company doesn't do well. If the company doesn't do well, the economy is not doing well. So we're literally in it together, and it's time to force people to kind of start taking care of themselves. We're already in a nanny state, we might as well carry on.
Exactly. Thank you, Anwi. I think we're gradually going towards the end of our topic of our discussion today. But before we go, I want to pop up these key points from Eva, and I want her to just quickly go through this, like some key points, So if Eva can just quickly go through this, and then we can.
Yeah, I would say, so this is mainly from business perspective, but I would say you can use this for personal finances. Where I would start is start, like Stephen Covey said, begin with the end in mind. What does this mean? You need to know why you're doing what you're doing. Why do you want to save, and why do you need the investment or savings, that X amount of money in your savings account? What is it you want to achieve? So I would say have a plan. what is it you want to, what is your desired outcome? Why do you want this? How do you want to achieve it? When do you want to see the result? And then it's important, especially now, to prioritize the actions, the strategies. So when it comes to expenditure, focus on, okay, if you are in the financial difficulties, look at your essential, discretionary and other expenditure you have. Can you decrease the non-essential, and can you increase savings or decrease savings depending on your situation? So really look at the strategies that work and fit to the current climate we are in, and it's going to work in the short term versus long term. And once you have this sort of clarity on what is it you want to achieve and what to do next, take actions. But whilst you're taking actions, you need to review on a regular basis how you're performing. Do I need to save more to buy this house at the end of the year? Do I need to reduce expenditure further in order to improve my savings rate, or in order to sustain my cash flow because I've lost my job? So you need to really, on a regular basis, you need to review your how you're performing versus your initial plan, and also if you're not getting where you want to be, ask yourself, what are the lessons I'm getting here? What can I improve? And do I need to then review my plan? Well, in the current climate, I probably won't be able to buy my house because I've lost my job. What do I need to do now? What do I need to focus on right now is to ensure that I can pay my expenditure on a monthly basis. And also I need to find the right role so that, let's say, in 2021 or 2022, I can get that house. So I would say, so these are the key steps that you can apply in the business and in your financial and your personal situation. And it works well. If you do it and you're flexible, you readjust it, it works well. Like it worked for me when I bought a house, when I had a plan for buying my house. So, but yeah, we could have a plan for anything. It doesn't have to be big. It can be also a small thing. But the important thing is to have the clarity what and why, and do it. Take actions, and then learn the lesson and change.
Thank you so much, Eva. This is fantastic. I mean, Eva has told us the steps, and I mean, she's backed that step with those steps with some of the key points. Is that, and we know it's a big problem. Financial security, financial insecurity is a very, very big problem. I mean, do you know anything we can do to tackle this? I know, just some kind of recap to what we've been saying all along, but I know some people are joining us now, those who were not there at the beginning. Can you give us a little bit of recap of some of the things that we need to do to tackle this as individuals, some steps to use?
Yeah, absolutely. So first of all, money loves speed and money loves action. So just take action, as Eva said. Take action. And also take bite-sized action, literally atomic actions, the little things. Don't, have £1,000 today and you want $1 million tomorrow. Literally bite-sized atomic actions, that's what you need to do. But overall, you have to look at, okay, clearing out your debt is an example. Look at your credit score, because that is important. It makes a difference between having a 5% on your mortgage or 1% on your mortgage. So having a sturdy credit score really, really helps. Also, look at, as I've mentioned, investing. That is an important part. That has to be part of your strategy from today. And it's not a future thing, it's a now thing. Look at your pensions, look at your savings. Those are all critical steps in your overall financial planning. And this is more just looking specifically at your finances as a whole. Wealth is more than just your finances. It's your relationships, it's your health, and so on and so forth. So right now we're speaking about one aspect of your wealth. So credit score, debt, savings, so your medium, short, and long-term goals, and your pensions, your investments. All of these are what I would start looking at. But definitely start looking at what your assets are and what your liabilities are. Start from that point, and then you can kind of know what you need to do first. So whatever step, start with the end in mind. You need to know where you are now to know the steps to get to the end. So what are your assets? What do you own? And what are your liabilities? What do you owe? Start from there, and then you can kind of then map what the end would look like, and what can I do today? What can I do this week? What can I do this month? What can I do this quarter? And each of those steps should get you to that end point that you started with.
Ladies, I am overwhelmed. I want to ask you girls a question. I need a pro bono service. I need a pro bono service from you girls. I mean, you have broadened I'm thinking now beyond what I used to. I used to think I am where I want to be with my finances, but based on our conversation, I want to go way beyond. So I'm going to be reaching out to you. I need some pro bono before payment terms. So we're going to talk behind the scene, and we'll see how we can, I can tap into your services. And ladies, gentlemen, if you're watching us today, I would like you to understand that these two ladies agreed to come here and speak about financial security. This is no joke. These ladies are ladies who are very busy. They have businesses that they run, and they charge. Trust me, they charge to speak. But they decided to do this for us for free. So I cannot thank them enough. The good thing is, this video is going to be on this platform for as long as you want. And it is also going to be on our YouTube channel. And if any of you ever need personal advice, please, financial advice for your business, how to expand, how to grow wealth, how to live from your earnings now, which I definitely need, to more, then you know where to come to. You can ask me, you can connect with them directly on Facebook, and they'll be able to support you. Of course, just give us as reference, and I'm sure some discounts going to be knocked off. I don't know if I have the right to say so, but of course, when you're being referred from us, I'm sure there's going to be some sort of flexibility. So let me read a few more contribution before we wrap it up. Financial security is very personal and subjective, just as being rich is, contrary to how some people measure. True. Thank you. Florence says thank you. I think this is because you girls had a very great response to her investment question. Noella says, interesting, begin with the end in mind. Going home with this, every action and decision will depend on this. Exactly, that's what I think as well. I have learned so much today. Thank you so much, Danielle. Thank you so much. We love seeing you on this session because we know that you're not here by chance. You're here because you've made a conscious decision of educating yourself, which is so important for us. And Tessie says, good points, Annie. Thank you, Tessie. Thank you for joining. Mercy says, own, future, own, future. So those are the three things that you need to have in mind. And Florence says, thank you so much, guest speakers. It has been very informative. Thank you so much, Florence. I'm truly overwhelmed as well. I'm truly happy I was able to get this to. I know it is 4 minutes past our end time, and we are just rounding up. Anui, is there any last words you want to give out to the ladies out there, especially those who own their own business? Is there any last words you want to tell them before we wrap up?
Business is very personal. I know they say it's not, but it's very personal. And a lot of the habits that you have in your personal finance, you are going to carry into your business finance. So being able to differentiate the two is really important, because in wealth, there are 3 steps in wealth. There's personal wealth, there's business wealth, and then there's societal wealth. Societal wealth is generational. So a lot of us probably won't reach that in this lifetime. But again, it's for you to put the steps in place. But where you want to focus is your personal wealth and your business wealth for those in business. And what I want to leave you with is, don't let the limitations of your eyes limit your mind. For the longer you do not take action, the more wealth you're losing.
Oh. Are you speaking to me? That you're speaking to me. Thank you so much, Annie. And I'm going to get it off my studio and then we're going to chat backstage. But now I think I am, my cup is so full with all of the things that you've advised, not just me, but the audience. And I truly want to thank you for taking time. I know how early it is in Jamaica, but you've taken your time and you have come on, to speak to us. I mean, the panic of not going backstage before with you, but I think this went perfectly well. Thank you so much, Annie, and it has truly been a rich session. So thank you.
Oh, thank you for having me. Thanks, guys, for joining. Really appreciate you.
All righty. Bye for now. See you backstage. See you and Eva backstage. I know we said 1:30, so I think that's why So thank you so much for joining, ladies and gentlemen. I want to thank people who've been watching. I mean, I will not be able to thank everybody, but I want to thank Beryl for watching, Sylvia, Marion, Bless, Ente, Christian, Nero King, Venatios, Derop, Montio, Chris, Florence, Anne, Rosalind Fonqua, Tessie, Adebayo. Thank you so much for watching. Please do bear in mind. Thank you, Linda. Thank you so much for staying right up to the end. I know it's working time. Do bear in mind our time will change from 3 o'clock to 5 o'clock because most women have expressed an interest wanting to join us, but because they're working 9 to 5, it has been a bit difficult for them to truly be with us, throughout the time. So we're going to be moving the time a little bit so to accommodate more people, also to accommodate more speakers. Oh, I think Eva is here, just so she says, hi Eva, I know we had
sorry. Yeah, I told you I would do a trick. I told you I would do a trick, so that was me disappearing.
Fine. I think we have to say bye to the audience and maybe if you have one last word to tell them. So that
no, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Adeline, for inviting me. It was a short notice, so I wasn't sure if I could, add value. So hopefully I helped, someone with my insights. And if anyone would like to connect with me on Facebook or LinkedIn, you've got my name. Just type my name and please connect with me. And if there's any way I can support your business or your personal development journey, get in touch. Thank you so much.
Do make sure you mention corporate women in leadership so that she knows. Thank you. Yeah. Let me put backstage for a minute.
Thank you.
Okay, bye. Backstage, I'll meet you there. Okay, so as I was saying, we're going to be changing the time from 3 o'clock to 5 o'clock, so as to accommodate more speakers. There are a lot of women who want to speak on the show, who want to speak and advise and add value, but due to work commitment, they've not been able to do that in the past. So bringing these one step, 2 hours further, I think we'll be able to accommodate them. And then just to let you know, we now have a French session that streams twice every Friday, and it is in French. So if you have any French colleagues, any French relative whom you want to be inspired and empower, please do make sure you tell them that there is Corporate Women in Leadership. And also just to honor that our Corporate Women in Leadership mentor-mentee program is still available. So if you feel there is a speaker that you love and you would like them to mentor you, please do send us a message and we'll be able to connect you with this speaker so that they can mentor you in your personal development, in your career growth, make you the woman you want to be. We do all these things for free, simply because we understand how difficult it is, especially in the modern world, to get someone to mentor you. Sometimes we feel we know it all, even if it's not a mentor, but we all do need accountability partners, as we've heard over and over during this session. Financial security. We can never get enough. I am Adeline Sedekamga, founder, Corporate Women in Leadership, Corporate Award, CEO, Fabafric Media Group. And tomorrow we're relaunching the print magazine for those of you who are not aware. But tomorrow we have a lot of parties on the social media pages. We'll be speaking on this page. We'll be speaking on all our pages about our new magazine, which we're going to be unveiling tomorrow. So if you have time and you want to join us, know that tomorrow is party time. Make sure you have a glass of champagne because you'll be ching-chinging with us. So thank you for joining once more. Thank you for the newcomers. Thank you for the old. Tessie, Messi, Nuela, Linda, Florence, Daniela. Thank you for all the people who've always been here. Tony, I can't thank you enough. I love you all. It's been Adeline. Bye for now. 10 minutes over the time, but that's all right. When we talk about money, we can talk forever, innit? Bye. Stay safe.